Good morning, it's MJ with Crow Tarot. Thank you so much for stopping by this beautiful Saturday morning. It is May 25th, and this is a general reading for the collective. So let's get started. I've already shuffled quite a bit this morning, but we're just going to give it a couple little pass-throughs just to make sure that we're good and clear. We do have a long weekend here in the United States, so I hope everyone gets a chance to at least do something pleasurable, whether that's get outside and go for a hike, or, for some of us, it's puttering around the house. Like, I move furniture around a lot. This is a trait I picked up from my mother. I know it sounds weird, but I do. I rearrange my living room rather frequently, so it's something that brings me joy. So anyway, I hope you all have your moments of joy this weekend. So the first card I'm going to pull is the Foundation card. And this is the card, this is the card that came up yesterday. This is the energy that brought you to where you are today. And now I have shuffled. I wish you guys knew how much I shuffled, but I shuffled quite a bit, and now you're back. So this is something that is telling me we need to pay attention. Let's see what the present card brings us. Okay. So this is the energy where we are in this moment, or it may be coming towards us. If you're not feeling this energy right now, it may be on its way. Think of like a breeze coming towards you. And finally, the advice card, and this is the card that you think about those crows going through the veil, and they are looking for information that's going to best serve the greater good right now, that will best serve this situation. Well, let's see. Let's try to unpack this one. Jeez, I might have to pull another card for clarity on this, because these two. All right, let's get going. Let's see what we have. So the moon sets us up today. And again, very similar to yesterday, this is about taming your wild side, taming that part of yourself that is ego-driven, recognizing when you are in that state of mind, where you're really not in control, but it's like your ego is, that feeling where it's like really, it's almost uncontrollable. And you only recognize it after the fact, like after you're like, oh God, was I like a complete rude butt right then? Is that like, was I just being horrible to this person? Because, it's like, you don't know it when you're in it. That's the crazy part. But this is a time now where you kind of, you sense it before it happens. And so because you have this in your past, this is something you've mastered. This is a skill that, it takes time to understand when we get into these spaces of feeling defensive, or, oh, where is that shame coming from? How does this trace back? How am I reacting to it? Sometimes we can't always, predict how other people are going to react, but you can predict how you can react when you have a good, solid understanding for how you operate in the subconscious. When you can get that, like, oh, I'm feeling that tinge come on of being, scared, or I'm feeling inadequate right now in this moment, because this is reminding me of what it was like when I was a child and had, a teacher who berated me. And, it's like, it's a very deep emotion that you feel when you are connected to your shadow and you understand your shadow and you're not frightened of it, right? Where you can detach yourself from your shadow. Like, think about Peter Pan cutting himself off from his shadow. It's like you have that ability to say, you know what, you're not invited to this party right now, and then controlling your emotions, but recognizing that it has its place. It's never going to go away. It's always going to be there, but you know how to manage it, you know, just like to work with it. It's just part of you. And so because you have this understanding, this is where I'm looking at this Two of Swords, and there's a fear here of moving forward. There's like this you may have everything under control in regards to I know why I do this, or I know when I'm slipping into this behavior, or oh, I know I'm about to get angry, and it has nothing to do with what's really going on in my situation. It has to do that because I'm worried that I may be inferior, or I may worry that I'm not being appreciated, or however it is that you get there. So here in this Two of Swords, you're stuck. You're stuck because there's information or something that you're not certain about. And it may be that there could be some concern that because you're blind to the situation, you're unable to really see the situation as it is. And there's a sense of control there. There's a feeling that if you don't move, you can stay in control. This does kind of remind me again, I think I had mentioned the Hulk yesterday, how when your shadow comes out, sometimes it's like the Hulk and you're like, and it just sort of explodes. You may be holding back something, and you may be afraid to take action at this time because you're not certain about how you can keep this energy in check. You may have done all this work in the past, but there's still that little part of you that says, oh, I'm not sure about this one. I haven't gone down this road before, or this is something new, or, I don't have enough information to really go forward with confidence. And you may recognize at this time, your shadow may be wanting to come in and dictate, and there's this desire to hold back as a result of that. This may be a point where you're actually suppressing it too much. It's you might need to let it come out a little bit, give it a little freedom so that you can get more information, so you can understand your situation better. This may not be a time to, to detach yourself or to overanalyze why you think a certain way. This may be a time for you to kind of just jump in and see what happens. This may be a time where you let your creativity that comes with your shadow, that comes with the moon, where you let that sort of seep into your day or seep into the situation, where you tap into your intuition. This is not to say that you should just jump in and go blindly, because right here it's saying this is not a time for denial. This is not a time for you to construct a cage to keep yourself in. Right now you may be doing that because of fear. You may have constructed this cage. I'm looking over here at the Eight of Swords. That, looking at this could very well be an energy that comes from not facing a reality that goes very deep. So there is something here that you're creating this this wall of inaction. You're keeping yourself in this nice little tight little container, because of fear, because of a belief, or there's some sense of denial going on here. Although it's all this work that was done in the past is wonderful, and you are so much more in tune with who you are. but there's still some part that hasn't been addressed. And this is the vibe I'm getting. I mean, I'm just looking at the cards and I'm kind of just letting them speak to me. That's why I'm kind of going a little bit slower. Sometimes these messages just pop right up and I'm like, oh, well, yeah, duh, that totally makes sense, in my mind at least. But here what I'm looking at is I'm seeing someone who has gone very deep and is just passionate about a life, but yet at the same time is terrified to move forward because they don't want to see who they really are, what their real potential is. It's easier to stay in this place here where you play it small, where it's safe, where you don't have to actually move, than to really let your wild side come out. Like this is, this is a place where you need to balance your shadow, not just control it. You need to let it have some freedom. You may be suppressing so much of your ego that you believe that you're not worthy. I mean, ego is not a bad thing. Having ego is what gets you up in front of a crowd, if you're a performer. Ego is what gets your artwork out there, if you're an artist. You have to have a healthy ego. You can't let your ego control you, and you can't let it dictate your future, but you can let it come out in times when you need that little extra boost of self-confidence. And what I'm getting here is that you recognize your ego, it's there. When it's like, rattling at the cage. But there's some fear of letting it go, of letting it out. There's something that's holding you back. And although right now you don't have enough information, you don't have enough information because you're not letting yourself see it. Or at least appreciate it. There's some belief that's tied on here. And it's connected to this moon. It's connected to your past. And it is a lot safer to just say, you know what, I'm just going to go about my life in my safe spot, staying stuck, and that way I don't have to address any information that I don't want to receive from my subconscious. If I just stay here, this is a safe place, but this is a place where you don't grow. So yeah. Yeah, this is, again, I'm sorry, it's like I'm just looking at these cards and like this is what I'm getting, guys. If you are in a place right now where you are not thriving, where you are not like waking up in the morning and going, hell yeah, this is my life. I'm stoked to get up out of this bed and make it, my day. If you're holding back, or if there's an opportunity for you to go somewhere or do something that may seem, a bit out of your comfort zone. If you're playing small, look back and ask yourself, are you allowing your ego to come out and play when it needs to? Are you working with your ego to help you, or are you just suppressing it? Because you just think, well, it's better to be, there's like a point where you can be humble, right? And humility is wonderful. We all need it. We all need to laugh at ourselves, right? I am down with the occasional self-deprecation. However, if you're the person who says all the time, oh no, I can't do that, or I'm not good enough for this, or I could never do that, it's like these words that you keep telling yourself in that respect, if you keep shoving that ego of yours in the cage, you know, and you may recognize when it's starting to come out and you're just like, oh, no, you just go right back in there because that's not polite, or, you know, that's not being humble, or that's not what's going to help you right now in whatever situation that you're in, because you're stuck. And you're going to need a little healthy dose of, yeah, I kick ass and I'm taking names. So, and again, this reading may not apply to everyone, but right now, if you're feeling stuck and you're just like, oh, I don't know if I should go for this job, or I don't know if I'm worthy of, you know, of this promotion, you're telling yourself that. If you're not going after something, if you think that you don't have the ability to take a risk here, it's because of what you're telling yourself. It's because you're not letting your ego come out and play for just a little bit. You know, I mean, like just a little. Not letting it run wild. You know, this isn't like a crazy weekend. This is just letting it out here and there in spurts when it will benefit you, and recognizing when it will benefit you and when it won't. So, yeah, I hope this reading makes sense, and think about what beliefs you may have that are keeping you trapped right now. Yes. Again, I mean, it comes down to balance. It's all about harmony, you know? It's like, and right now what I'm seeing is there's a lack of harmony in regards to how you interact with your you know, with your ego or your subconscious mind. You may be letting your creativity expand a little too much here if you're thinking like, well, because you're unable to really see what's going to happen. So if you're perceiving the worst, if you're catastrophizing, that's not going to play to your advantage. Right now, what will play to your advantage is mustering up your ego, you know, telling it to play nice, but get out there and do its job. So anyway, I hope this reading makes sense, and bye for now. Much love to you, and I will check back with you tomorrow. Bye.